Hello, we're gonna start another reading vlog. This is a wig that I'm wearing. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, I started reading The Floating World by Axio. This is the one I decided to pick up next. But like this copy is so pretty. And so far it's starting like I don't know what I thought this book was gonna be, but it sounds like this girl is like in a troupe or like a performance group or whatever so far, the main character girl. So I'm interested to see where this is gonna continue. There's definitely magic. And there's yeah, she's like part of a traveling theatrical troupe, it sounds like. So I'm interested so far, but I haven't gotten very far in at all. I just want to start the vlog. So, we'll just see where it goes. But yeah, I feel like I've heard good things about this so far, so we're just going to continue on with that and hope that that's true. Okay. So, I started this and I'm like hooked into it and I'm about almost halfway already and it is so dark. This is like messed up and sad and it's very dystopian. Like our main character here, she lives in a world where there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of flooding, there's mutated animals. She's a taxidermist, but they try to taxidermy like the regular animals, not the mutated ones, for like science, I guess, for like rich people that want that crap. So, but their world is basically owned by a company that is cashing in on people's debts by doing a gauntlet. Like you can sponsor somebody else, not even yourself, to be hunted down like an animal for your debt. So our main character ends up having to go through that kind of situation, and there are angels that are basically the ones that are they're people, but they've been like cyborged in order to make them really good at hunting people down. Like their whole job is to hunt people down for cameras and entertainment. So they turn you into a spectacle as they hunt you down to kill you. And it is just really dark and messed up. And our girl has parent issues. I feel like there's always like a shitbag parent or two in Ava Reed's books that's always telling the main character like ugly stuff. And so it's a bad time. It's a bad time, and so she's trying to run away and stay alive, but it sounds like the gauntlet's for like 2 weeks, 2 whole ass weeks, and our girl doesn't even know how to use a gun properly. And so, but she's getting like sniped down and stuff. Oh my god! And then there's also apparently you can't eat the mutated animals. So like in the wild, there's also they call them the Wens. I'm guessing it's short for like Wendigo type shit, but it's people that will have kind of even start mutating themselves because the animals all have like it sounds like they'll have like radiation, and so you got a deer with webbed feet and 3 eyes and all kinds of stuff. And so, but if you eat them, apparently, then people start getting like webbed hands and all this kind of stuff and all kinds of mutations, and then they stop being like human. They kind of lose their mind, and now they're trying to eat any people too that come along. So it's intense. She's basically being hunted by like a lot of different stuff, and it's just not a good time. Her world is messed up, her family's messed up, her situation's messed up. Like, but I'm into it. It's like it's turning out to be like a pretty fast paced read. But yeah, she's just our main character is not having a good time. Not having a good time at all. And after I read this, I'm gonna need like a happy book because this is dark and intense. Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna see how it goes because so far there's a couple of derp situations. Like this book could have ended already, but people decided to take the moral high ground, and so yeah. But I mean, we're just gonna see where this goes. I think it's supposed to turn into a relationship type thing, but we'll see. Okay, so I finished Fable for the End of the World. And this book is just really sad. This book is so sad. Like, my thought of I'm gonna need something happy to read after this is very on point. Because this is just very sad. And, like, I read it with the audiobook, and the audiobook doesn't have, like, the very last part, which is, like, a little, I guess, like, short story, or, I don't know, is it long enough to be a novella? I don't know, but it has a little story from Luca's POV. So you see what happened to Luca while he was gone, and it makes the ending of this even more sad. So it's sad times all around. So, it's a bad time for her. It's a bad time for her brother. The only one who's not getting the shit into the stick is their stupid mom. Like, it's just, this book is sad. This book is sad. Like, it gives you a little bit of hope about certain things at parts, but, you know, very few of those things are panning out because this is a dystopian. It is meant to make you sad. And it does the job. It does the job. I had a hard time knowing how to rate this. I think I give it like 3.5. Because, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best dystopian I've ever read, but it did the thing. It did the thing. It is sad. It's messed up. It's messed up. So then, after that, I read more of Beasts of Carnival. And this book is just like, first off, our main character, Sophia, she is very unwilling to accept anything supernatural. Even though I feel like it's painfully obvious that it probably kind of is. Because 2 and 2 ain't adding up. It's not adding up. Some things just don't add up, and she's not willing to accept that. So she's having a hard time with that, but, she continues her little experiments, and she does find out some stuff, because, she's the kind of character that's looking through and trying to figure out the answers. How she found the answer she was looking for? Not exactly. I'm not sure if we're gonna get an explanation on that or not, because I have no idea where the hell this book's really going anymore. I cannot tell, but not for sure. But yeah, like, it has taken a twist that makes sense if you think about it, but also what the fuck. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to spill too much because this is definitely a book to kind of go in blind. Like, you don't want to know what's going to happen because, like, it's all, the first half is just like a hazy dream. It all turns into like a really hazy dream, and then our girl's trying to basically apply like the scientific method to it. Girl thinks of herself as like a scholar, and yeah, she's read a lot of books, she knows some stuff, but she's just like trying the hardest to make sense of shit that just kind of doesn't. And then she's, I don't know, finding out weird things that don't make sense to me. It does not make sense. It's painfully obvious that some of this is not logical, not regular logic. But yeah, she don't see it that way. But it's getting, it took a turn. It took a turn, and it's interesting, and I'm interested to see where it's gonna keep going. I think I'm like 60% now. So we got like a good chunk of the book still left. I don't know where the hell it's gonna go now. But we're gonna find out. Cause yeah, the first half is just Caraval. It's Caraval, except our main character is a little bit more mentally with it, I guess. Like she's not a spoiled child. I mean, not that they were that spoiled, but she's like had a rougher life, so she's a little bit more grounded in reality, I guess. But yeah, the beginning is still just very, like, it's that same vibe of things are just, the math ain't quite mathin'. And there's a lot of vibes, but we don't understand what's really happening. So now we've kind of departed from that. And so, yeah, we're just going to see where it goes because I really have no clue. I have no clue. Okay. And now, I started the audiobook for Sinner's Isle, which I think is just a romance. I'm not sure if it's fantasy. And they did say something about magic, but I don't know if it's like in what sense, you know? So I need to check the tags for that because I have no idea. I just know it's a romance, and I just picked it up because of that, and it seems summary, and I know they're on an island. But anyways, yeah, I barely started that, so I don't got a whole lot to say about that. And then potentially after that, or maybe like simultaneously, we're gonna start the Raven Scholar because I got the audiobook, and I only got like a few days left on that, and so we gotta get rolling. So I gotta read this chunky baby. Hopefully it's good. I've heard mixed things, honestly. Like the people that love it seem to really, really like it. So I kind of think I'm gonna fall into that camp because I am a fantasy girl. So, anyways, we're gonna blast through this through Sinner's Isle, which I hope it's happy because the other book tore me up. So yeah, we're gonna try to blast through that while I play some Hello Kitty Adventure Island. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But those are the plans. For some reason, I keep running into technical difficulties when I try to update this reading vlog. But anyways, I went back and looked at the clip, and there was no audio when I tried to explain that I finished reading The Floating World. Okay? So I finished reading the book a while back, and I'm gonna try to remember what my thoughts were about it. So basically, I think what I had been thinking was that this book was maybe a little bit too YA for me in the end. The fact that she's like an acrobat or whatever basically and a performer kind of detracted from the like sense of urgency in any of the times when they're being chased and when there's like, you know, basically bad stuff happening. Like they're being chased throughout like a big part of this book because they want to snatch her. They want to snatch her after she does some magic and basically make an example of her, and it's like not like it's really kind of bad, but there's a lot of the tension of that is alleviated by her just doing like little tricks here and there. And so I don't know, it was harder for me to like sink into the feeling of like this is serious and her life is in danger. So I don't know, so that part kind of lost me. But at the same time, like there are definitely some sad scenes in here, especially in regards to the guy in this story. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I have very mixed feelings about this, and I give it 3 stars, I believe. And it's listed on my Pango because I don't think I'm going to continue with this series. It just didn't grip me in the way that I want it to be gripped, which is sad because I actually really liked Axio's other book. I think it's The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. That one was like very Studio Ghibli-esque, reminding me of Spirited Away. Like, the vibes of that was really good. This one, I feel like the world is kind of confusing. Not super confusing, but like, I don't know. It's just there's just like a lot of contrasting things in here that are not necessarily meshing well. It's kind of how I feel about it. So after that, I ended up being in like a horror mood, and so I read this in a day. I am into Kaylin Barron's books these days. So I picked this up from the library and read through it in a day. This is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. And like the beginning was kind of slow for me and kind of like I wasn't super into because it's a bunch of teenagers at like camp basically. But it turned very intense. For like a 230 page like quick book, like the end was intense. It got creepy, it got gruesome, it got like everything that I like in these kinds of books. And so I was into this in the end. And just, man, I feel for these teenagers. And like, I mean, I don't want to spill anything beyond that because, you know, that's the whole fun of like horror books. But for this being a YA book, I was into it. Like, I don't know, YA horror, it's already, I feel like YA books typically read kind of fast. And then for being a horror book, like, it's easy to get sucked in. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely like the last part when stuff started happening. So basically, they're working at a camp, except it's not a normal camp. It's like a what do you call it? They're replicating like a horror movie with like a serial killer. And so they're already acting like serial killers and trying to scare people at this camp. Except, then the script flips and they end up being the scared ones, but with good actual reason. And the ending of this was so satisfying. Like, there's an epilogue, and you should definitely read it. Like, I think I've heard some people say that they don't read epilogues for some reason, but I kind of understand maybe being able to skip that in a romance book, but not in this one. You want to read that epilogue, so it was worth it. The ending was very satisfying, and I think I gave that 4 stars. It's a little blurry at this point when I actually rated these, but obviously in the wrap up, we'll have those. But yeah, so yeah, I went through this in a day because it's really short. And then after that, yeah, I ended up reading. I finished Fable for the End of the World. I think we already talked about that. But then after that, I did finish Sinner's Isle. It is fantasy. The main characters, my problem with Sinner's Isle ended up being that there is just like, it's like the same story. Like, it's really a historical book, but put it in a fantasy setting with a few twists. And so it's basically, again, the story of like what happened to my ancestors when they got like taken over, and then, women are getting basically forced to comply with men's wishes, and it ended up being really messed up, kind of. And yeah, and it was hard for me to pay attention because then I was just mad. I was just mad at the colonialism. I was mad at the sexism. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So, I mean, there was some banger lines in this, though. Like, her banter with, like, the pirate was good. But, yeah, there were some satisfying scenes. But, yes, this book is a lot about oppression. Oppression, because there are a lot of people with powers. And at one point in their history, they explain from the beginning of the book, they were just like, ooh, powers. And then, of course, their power gets abused by people who want power, like a king or whatever. So they get abused. And then after that, it just becomes full-blown subjugation, where now they're tainted and the church is trying to control them. Sound familiar? And so then now their solution to that is that, first off, their church has like 13 gods, except they got rid of one because she's a woman who gives women powers, apparently, and so they didn't like that. So they're just like, Ziomara, goodbye. Apparently that's the name of the goddess that gives people magical powers. They don't like that. So they got rid of her. You don't get to worship her anymore. And their solution was to bond these women that have these magical powers to men. So that way the only way they can use their powers is if the man says that they can, and they have to do whatever the fuck he wants. And yeah, that just really pissed me off, so. There was supposedly a romance in this book and went all the way over my head because I was just mad the whole time about that stuff. So, I give it like 3 stars, but honestly that was just because I was in a headspace to be mad. It's not a bad book, but yeah, I don't know. I'll be getting mad. Because there's still people today acting like it's their God-given right to be assholes to people in this kind of way. Spoiler alert, it's not. If you haven't figured that out in your life yet, guess what? You're not any different from anybody else. Get over yourself. But anyway, so that's what I got from that. And then I think I also had a haul in that clip that got messed up. So anyways, I'm gonna pause this and grab those books so that way y'all can see what I got. There's at least one more book in this haul that I cannot find. Nor do I remember what it was. Anyways, so, let's start. I got Sea to Evil and Desire. Sea of Evil and Desire, bro. So anyways, this one, we've got mermaids. Let's see, a love bound by fate, a kingdom on the brink of extinction. Let's see, so, yeah. Apparently mermaids are fighting with other people. I don't know. So anyways, we've got that one. Then here we also got, I picked up the Wraith King because I've been eyeing this for a little bit, so I'm excited to read that. I don't really actually know that much, I think. I've just heard a bunch about it. There's like a war and stuff, so that'll be interesting. Now you got Rabid, which I think this might be Omegaverse. It was on the Omegaverse shelf if I remember correctly. But, we've got wolves, as you can see from the picture. I picked up Nightshade because school setting. This is a school setting with magic, and it just sounds like the kind of thing that I'm like really into. I don't know. I like a school setting with magic, so we're into that. And then also picked up the Wishing Game. Like, I recognized the author's name. It took me a while to remember where, but apparently she wrote Fairy Tale, which is like making the rounds right now. But anyway, this is book 1 in a series, and boy, this book is chunky. So we're hoping that this is good. Everybody's making Fairy Tale sound like it's like a must read. So I'm hoping that she's a win in this one too. Then we're gonna find out. But this one sounds like it's one of those competitions to the death type thing. So we're gonna see how that goes. And then I picked up one contemporary romance, Roll for Romance, because I'm finding that I do like when Dungeons and Dragons is included in a romance. I like playing that shit, so here we go. We're gonna hope that this book is good. That's what I got. Except I swear there was one more. I swear. But what is it? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining it, but yeah, that's the haul. That's the haul. I really gotta stop going to the bookstore right after I've had my shots for my hives because it really puts me out of it, and I just be like blackout buying stuff. I mean, not I'm not fully blacked out, but my willpower is weak in those moments, very weak, because I am tired. I'm kind of out of it. I'm kind of like, ooh. And then I just end up buying too much crap. So, anyways, that's the haul, and I think this is where we're gonna end the vlog because why not at this point? Starting next time, I think we're gonna read Terror at the Gates, but that's a big maybe. We'll see. So, anyways, I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.